What is up, everybody?
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome to the Action VFX May live stream. First of all, I want to go ahead and introduce myself and Wyatt. We are both here without our fearless leader, Tom. He is on holiday currently. And just thank y'all for being here, especially over here in the chats. We've got like people in New Zealand that are up at 4 a.m. and
that's
2 a.m. It's ridiculous. So thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out with us today.
Yeah, and let us know. Are we coming through clear for everyone? Everyone can hear us all right? Just want to make sure if there are any issues, we're taking care of it.
It'd be embarrassing if no one heard any of that.
Yeah, I still see people popping in, so I think we're doing good.
Cool.
Yeah. First thing I think we can start ourselves off with, just a little warm-up question.
Let's do it. What you got?
I think this is a question the chat can be answering as well. If you guys have any personal projects you've worked on that you really want to shout out, feel free to do so.
And also, if y'all have links to those projects, drop them as well so that other users can check them out.
And share them in the Share Your Work channel on Discord.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off? What is one personal project that you are most proud of?
I think I'd go with I do some Saw fan films, and so the whenever a new movie comes out in theaters, I try to make my own Saw trap to release alongside it, and those have done better than anything else I've made. It kind of speaks to if you have an IP, you'll be a lot more successful. But those are always really fun because it's a really cool shoot, and there's so much like playing around with the lighting and getting to do practical effects, and then the sound design and the cinematography is pretty crazy, and they actually like get a reaction online and people respond to them. So I'd say personally that's probably what I'm most proud of. What about you, Sam?
Oh, well, let me first start off with I have seen some of those projects that you are talking about, and I am someone who has never seen any of the Saw movies. I do not have a strong stomach at all. And they are very, very realistic seeming and very, very gross. So
you don't need to see the movies. My fan films are better.
Okay. All right. I will keep that in mind. Favorite personal project. I was the director of photography on a project recently that's not really out yet. It's kind of going around like the film festival circuit. They're trying to get it into different festivals, and some of them have restrictions on like pre-releases and stuff. But basically, it's like this story about these two guys, and one of them has kind of a severed relationship with his dad, but they're both bonding over. They're both kind of like separately bonding over this fixing of like this old like 1970s Corvette. And so it's just there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of emotion to it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to shoot. We shot it in like 3 days. It's like an 18-minute short film, but it was good.
When do you think we can see that, Sam? When can we feast our eyes upon it?
Man, I don't know. It'll probably be a few months.
Yeah, you've been going to some festivals I've seen. What is kind of like the festival experience like running with a short film or a project versus kind of just putting it online and like sharing it anonymously?
I mean, it really depends. I've been to more premieres lately than I've been to like festivals. So in the like premiere world, it's pretty chill. It's pretty calm. You just show up and everybody that you worked with is there, and all of their friends are there. So it's like really great networking, and then you get to see how your work translates to the big screen, which is always fun. But and then just like festival or festivals. With those, it's it's also just a lot of like connections and mingling. When I go to film festivals, I don't really attend a lot of film screenings. I mainly use that as like a networking opportunity. So that's usually what I wind up doing. I'll go see a handful of films that my friends worked on or that I worked on because you're kind of obligated to be there when you've done that. But outside of that, you just you just meet people, and that's where future business comes from. That's where great relationships come from. That's where long-term friendships come from. Some of my best friends in the world I've met by skipping films at film festivals and just hanging out.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like I did go to just a couple films, not as many at the film festivals I've been to, but like when they're doing if they're having like a little social party or like drinks or they're handing out food or stuff, those are like the best parts because then you're talking with
Yep.
everybody and you're getting to see like what level everyone's at and like figuring out who's kind of in the similar style that you are and who you could collaborate with in the future. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. The networking part is the best aspect, I think.
Yeah, that's where you really get the value out of what you poured in for that
Yeah.
ticket.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we can jump ahead and start discussing some what our newest release on the storefront is.
Yeah, let's talk about it. We got directional explosions. So this is a product that's been requested for quite a long time. It's explosions that are not going directly upwards or just kind of sitting in just a standard space like our aerial explosions. These ones actually have directionality to them, as in the name. So we have like sideways explosions. We have sideways explosions that are angled at camera. We have sideways explosions that are coming straight towards camera. So these are really cool, and we also have two variations within them. One of them is that it's aerial, similar to this one here, so it's great for like buildings and skyscrapers. And the other ones actually have ground interaction if it's like a sideways explosion that's on a first story or something like that. They're really sick.
Looking at this comp, because you're the one who made it, right?
Correct.
So I kind of want to just walk through a couple things because I think especially fire and explosions are some of like they're easier effects, but they're also the hardest to get to look just right.
Yep.
I was wondering if we could just walk through a couple of the things you did with this because I know like
Sure.
first thing I'm noticing is the reflection, the kind of like warpedness to it, and also that it seems darker than the
Yeah.
actual explosion itself. And I'm also noticing motion blur kind of on the edges. So like if you could just kind of talk through those kind of things and what your process for blending explosions for.
Yeah, so with these, there is not a lot of motion blur. There's a little bit that's kind of natural, but I added a little bit of synthetic motion blur to this. If this were an actual real comp, I would have added much more. But because we really wanted to show off all of the detail within the explosion, I left the motion blur to just a little bit, just to show that it has movement, show that it has life, but still be able to retain all of those details. When it comes to the window, I don't remember how I did that. I think I did a displace map in After Effects that was only set to vertical. I don't know if that's an option. I don't know if that's true. Everyone correct me if I'm wrong. I did this a couple weeks ago, and a lot has happened since then.
Regardless, usually like the for reflections be some type of like displacement, like a
Yeah,
turbulent.
especially when it's on glass like this, because no pane of glass is perfect, and
Mhm.
also once an explosion happens, there's a lot of pressure, so glass is going to warp if it doesn't burst. And so that almost kind of gives it that look of like, oh, it's like warping a little bit from the pressures that are inside. So now it's causing this little bit of displacement and distortion.
Did you use any of our shattered glass assets on this?
I did. That's exactly what those are. I also used our large concrete bullet hits for
Oh,
some of that debris that's falling off of the end there on the lower left side of the explosion. Those are our large scale concrete bullet hits.
I think that's an important thing to highlight, that a lot of the time you can't just like take an explosion and drop it. Like if
Nope.
you have some debris assets, some environmental like destruction assets, anything like that, it's always great to layer those in there because you can kind of
Absolutely.
play around with them differently to really give depth and layering to it.
Yeah, and these do come with a little bit of debris, but that's more of like explosive charge debris. And yeah, you can kind of see it there. That's just like natural. Here's what happens with an explosion in general. You're not getting any of that environmental debris in there, which that is a great thing to point out there with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so those are out. They're in 2K, 4K, and also in EXR 4K. So go download those. It includes uh, 4 different lighting passes. It's got like rim light, fill light, and key light, and it also has the fire light. So you really have a lot of options to help light it to fit your scene really good.
Yeah, for
No
anyone who's
matter,
unfamiliar with EXRs, it basically is separate render passes of different kind of like lighting on our assets. That way you can layer it up and basically kind of adjust which layer is more visible
yep.
to change the lighting on a 2D asset without having to go into 3D and like do all the crazy intense work on it.
Yeah, and you can also just solo out a rim light, and you can turn it blue if it's
Yeah.
outside and like the light from the sky is kind of bluish, or if you're doing like a night scene and there's street lights, you can make it really orange, and you can add a strong key and take the fill out and just give it that really high contrasty nighttime look, and
Yeah.
it makes it so much more realistic within that comp.
It helps blend it so much more. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
something we've discussed in a few videos on the channel, but definitely something we want to dive more into. So keep an eye out for more information on that in the future.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then another thing to highlight, some uh, next month's additions to the Essential catalog. These will be for June. We have our energy shockwaves and our lightning beams. And Sam, you played around with the lightning beams recently, didn't you?
I sure did, and I think we will get into that here in just a little bit when it comes to the VFX challenge. It's a little sneak preview of what's coming up, but these ones are really sick. They are in 3D, so you can really move them around and get them exactly where you need them to be from the source to the perspective, and yeah, they're really cool. They're so realistic. Uh, it is not even crazy.
Yeah, those are great. So make sure to get those while you have the chance. But yeah, other than that, I think speaking of products, we shot quite a bit recently, and it was a 5-week shoot. Uh,
Yes, it
Lots
was.
of crazy hours, lots of crazy products shot, and Sam and I were actually there. And what was kind of your experience, Sam? How long were you there? What were you doing?
Um, well, I think my overall experience is that uh I think during the shoot, like at least 30% of my blood content was Red Bull, um, and just caffeine in general, because we were shooting nights for 2 out of the 3 weeks that I was there, and Wyatt, you were only there for the actual night shoots. Um, and so we were going from 7:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. every single day for 2 weeks straight. But it was a lot of fun. We got a lot of really cool and exciting things. Just got to hang out with the team again. Got to hang out with Wyatt in person. For those of y'all that don't know, we live on complete opposite sides of the United States, and most everyone is remote. So it was really good just to be able to have that in person camaraderie again, and just spend time with each other and laugh and joke and commiserate and still get some really, really great stuff out of it.
Yeah, it was wild meeting Sam in person for the first time. He was the very first person from Action VFX I met in person. Then we went from there. We were staying at a Airbnb with our boss Ro, who has popped up on the live streams a few times.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just crazy night shoots. We'd get home, throw on a Fast and Furious movie at 5
That's right.
a.m.
Or
fall asleep.
Transformers.
Yeah.
Or yeah, we really went back to that like 2000s nostalgia movies. They were real. It was a great time.
Very fitting for a company called Action VFX.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
As far as like my role, so I was pretty much just kind of an extra set of hands, and I was also in charge of a lot of the overall lighting. So when it comes to like water blasts or water splashes, or any of the other assets that we filmed that involve that light interaction, you kind of have to get that lighting really, really close, and you are dealing with like inches of accuracy. Like whenever you move something, you're moving it like millimeters at a time until it looks just right in camera. It's not exactly like when you're doing a standard shoot, and it's cool if you get a little bit of light spill here. Like that's not a big deal. But with these, you have to be much more methodical and meticulous about how the actual lighting works.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy being there. Those were big lights, so bright, and it's like pitch black out, and then you beam these things on, and they're lighting up like every house in the neighborhood. And then like when you're standing out from it, you're fine, but as soon as you walk into the lights, it's like all you see is this bright glow around you and just pitch black beyond in the distance.
Oh, dude, remember the cows that would moo every single time that we would like set off one of the like water blast explosions?
Yeah. We were throwing explosives, not throwing explosives. We were cautiously setting them up in a pool and then blowing them up.
We did throw explosives at one point.
We did throw some Molotov cocktails.
Yeah,
you got to throw a Molotov cocktail. What was that like, Sam?
I did. It was fun when it finally burst. Fun fact about Molotov cocktails: they are much harder to break than they seem. You will probably it's probably like a 1 out of 3 that will actually break. So I actually remember I had arrived to set kind of late that day, and they had already been throwing Molotovs for a little while at this point. And Zach told me to just throw it hard, and I did, and I threw it really hard, and the bottle did not break, but it did punch a hole in the backdrop. And so I did do what I was told. I threw it hard, but unfortunately it was the wrong kind of hard.
Yeah, keep in mind, if you're ever throwing a Molotov at like a plywood shed, never throw one. But if you were in this hypothetical that's completely unrealistic, just be aware it may bounce back at you.
Yes.
So stay on your toes at all time.
That's right.
Yeah. Trying to think any other assets that were really exciting. We got a lot of fire. I was throwing burning debris off a roof. That was crazy.
How was that?
That was that was one of the colder nights. We were like bundled up in thermals and stuff, and I'm standing on a roof with a tray with a bunch of like wood and just other debris on it, and we set it on fire, and then I dump it off and we film it like floating and falling to the ground. That was really cool. Working with fire is always so much fun.
Oh yeah. What is probably your favorite product that we shot, or products?
All right, a part of the shoot that I wasn't a part of was when they did all the gore. And I feel like I'm kind of the gore guy, like in terms of like personally, like in my work, what I try to incorporate the most. And we did like melting flesh.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I'm so excited to do tutorials with those. Those are
Oh,
going to be
dude,
so much fun to play around with.
it looks so gross. The like BTS of that. I remember Zach was telling me at one point that he was like mixing all of this concoction that they'd come up with for like fleshy bits and stuff in there, and there were like Cheetos and vinegar and all sorts of weird stuff. And Gracie was telling me that she was watching Zach stir it, and like as he would stir it, he would just like gag off to the side just from the smell of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It like wasn't the fact that it was gory, it was the smell.
The smell gets bad. On the
Yeah.
Saw videos I was talking about, we had one where a bone had to be removed. And the way we made the prop was we bought cow kneecaps, like for
Uh-huh.
dogs to chew and eat and stuff. And so they're these seasoned cow kneecaps that we then covered in this kind of smelly fake blood. And once the seasoning and the bone and the fake blood mixed, it filled the entire garage we were filming in, and it was nauseating.
Ugh.
But I wasn't the actor, so I didn't have to hold it. So I was
That's
very,
right.
very
You
happy.
could just have your little trash can off camera, and
Yep.
yeah, the actor just had to suffer through it.
I was just plugging my nose the whole time while they've got fake blood all over their hands, trying not to touch anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we actually have a little behind the scenes vlog of the shoot. So let's jump into that.
Cue it up. So this will kind of give you a sneak preview of the on-set experience that we had.
Yeah.
Five weeks of shooting straight is definitely not the easiest thing, but the team here, like honestly, like I've been super humbled by everybody. Like we're just on top of it, just doing our best and getting some really cool shots. So it's been really cool.
It's cold. Not really. It's warmer tonight, but it's dark. Yes, sir.
I felt like where the water is hitting.
I have no good words. I don't perform well on camera unless it's scripted and I know what I'm doing ahead of time.
I'm trying to get a shot of you when you're giving him direction on how to. Can you just pretend like you're miming stuff?
Alright, go ahead.
Boo this man. That's actually pretty good, not gonna lie.
So this week is all about shooting fire and water. Wood fires, some falling, burning debris, and then in the next few days we'll be doing a lot more water stuff. Water splashes. We're actually building a pretty decent sized pool that will be able to do different types of water effects on. So lots of cool water explosions and stuff like that. Fire and water, that's what we're doing this week.
Here at Action VFX Masters, we're homeless and struggling. Here we had Wyatt here. He's new with us today. They'd given him a job on set. They ran out of fabric, so he's just sitting here blocking light, but he's doing a phenomenal drive.
It's only hour rate of 10, but I'm glad to be contributing.
We're paying him?
Previously, a lot of our fire collections were shot at a higher frame rate and thus a higher shutter speed as well. And one feedback that we've received from users is just the desire to really get more motion blur, more of that natural motion blur, so they don't have to worry about it in post. We're doing a few things differently, among that actually shooting at the 180-degree shutter speed just to get that natural film motion blur. We're always learning new stuff, so we're improving how we capture everything on a technical level as well, which is going to just help things hold up better in your projects.
Also really looking forward to our Molotov cocktails, just because that is going to be a very fun collection to film. We're going to be building a large wall that we can throw Molotov cocktails at. So stay tuned and watch out for those new products.
Wyatt, in your own words, can you explain to me exactly what you're doing here?
I am a prop with a pulse. I am flagging the light with my body because I just happen to do it better than any piece of neg can. Making miracles happen.
How does it feel?
It feels like I finally have a purpose. I'm putting this on my resume.
So it is currently 2:22 a.m. The reason being we have to shoot outside because of the scale of a lot of these effects, and also we need the black background. Behind me is our biggest black backdrop that we have. So we actually had to have this one custom made because obviously you can't really go anywhere and just get something that huge. It's come up pretty handy for various different shoots that we've done, especially the more large scale stuff like the atmospheric smoke, the rain, and things like that. So anytime we need like a wide area that's actually covered in black, that's usually how it happens. It's one of our best investments for sure. Currently, we have the Dustwaves Volume 2 collection. This is probably one of our most popular collections because it's so widely used in anything. Like any types of effects could use a dustwave, whether it's an explosion or a superhero landing or some destruction shots. You need dust, and dust waves just come in super handy. And this time around, we're going to try a few different things, really make the dust behaves in ways that our current collection didn't really do. So we're looking forward to that, and that'll be kind of what's wrapping up this 5-week shoot that we've been doing.
So you did some complaining. What did we upgrade you to?
Bum pad. I was getting sore on my bum.
So if you know anything about the Action VFX library, you know that we have a lot of fire, a lot of ground fire, structure fire. But usually it's fuel-based, so we'll have some gas or different types of fuel burning on the ground. But we wanted to do something different this time around, so we have actual wood fires, because wood fires actually, when they burn with less smoke, and it's actually, we have the fire burning on the actual wood. So that's going to look a lot more realistic for whether it's a forest fire or any types of shots where you don't really want that gas billowing smoke look. So we did a bunch of these, so obviously some smaller ones that could work well for a campfire, and then of course some much bigger ones that are going to be really sick for your stuff. So look forward to this collection. It'll be out very soon at actionvfx.com.
Sit back on.
Just can't get any good help anymore.
Is this okay?
Pull your knees in.
Sorry.
Don't do it again.
Sorry.
Oh man.
Amazing stuff. That was fun. That's how you got to keep yourself entertained when those night shoots get long, is goof off a little bit, be creative.
Yep. Whenever they start to finally get to you can see all of the delirium amongst everyone.
Yeah, me and Sam were there. Sam was helping a lot with lighting. I was kind of just doing some PA stuff, but we were both also shooting behind the scenes content the entire time.
Yep.
And so that's what is allowing us to share all this cool look at how the magic's made.
Yes, sir. One of the things that they didn't touch on in that video, because we at the time that we filmed all those interviews, we hadn't gotten around to these assets yet. But we did a lot of like bullet hits, and we did new muzzle flashes and gun smoke. And the gun smoke I am very excited about, because we actually used blanks and guns to actually get the actual gun smoke. So it'll be one of those things now where it actually is truly drag and drop. You won't have to like bring the asset in and cut the first little bit of it off and speed up the clip to really get that like gun smoke power behind it. So those ones I'm really looking forward to. And we shot them with like different muzzle devices as well, so that you get all of the different looks, and all of the different like realistic directionalities with them.
One thing I want to highlight, because some of the footage used in that was pulled from our Godzilla -1 promotion. Someone said, "Don't hate me, but I still have yet to watch Godzilla -1. Jump on it ASAP. Highly recommend." In case you didn't know, they used Action VFX assets, and it was an Oscar-winning movie for best visual effects. So
it was, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good in Godzilla -1 minus color.
I have not seen that one. That's one I hear that is worth checking out. But the colors look
black and
so
white.
vibrant in the original that I'm torn.
Dude, yes, but it's just the minus color is so good.
It's more authentic to the original too.
Yeah. Yep.
So check out Godzilla -1. Highly recommend. Speaking of VFX, though, Sam, you did a little work with our rain VFX, and you actually have one of our most popular marketing shots, which is of a car in the rain. And kind of just explain, you had a chance to kind of retouch it up and see how the progress you've made, right?
Yeah, so we were doing some new action VFX ads, and all of the ads focus on like doing like drag and drop breakdowns. Well, one of the scenes that we wanted to use was the car and rain shot, and I didn't still have the project files for it. So I had to actually go back and remake the car and rain shot almost 4 years later. And it was really cool just to see that growth within myself. This was really like the first VFX shot that I had ever done. And being able to just kind of look back and compare and contrast, like the first version took me like a day and a half, and then this newer version that we'll show you guys here in just a minute took me like 3 hours. And in my opinion, it looks a lot more realistic. So with that, my advice is just to keep going. If you're newer in visual effects, just keep it up. Just keep, working on it and making new stuff and figuring out new techniques and tricks. And then it was honestly really fun to go back. So if you have an old scene that you did a long time ago, go back and redo it and just look at the difference, and it really makes you feel a lot better.
Yeah. Let's take a look at that real quick.
Yeah. So this is the two different versions, the one I did in 2021 and the one I did in 2025. Some notable differences was that I did actually less rain on ground assets than I did in the original one. It's kind of one of those like picking your battles things, because the more assets you add in, the longer it takes. And so kind of figuring out what will actually translate over to camera. Like there were a lot of things within the first one that didn't. And here in this second one, you can't really tell that there are less rain on ground assets in it. You can't quite see it with the resolution here, but the interaction on the car is more realistic as well. And I also added in the like light reflections in the background. When I first started out, that was something that I didn't know how to do, and then along the way, that was something that I did end up learning how to do, and it made the scene feel so much more real by making the rest of that ground feel wet versus.
I did not even notice those reflections till you just pointed it out. How did you do that?
So I duplicated the background layer, and then I flipped it, and then I used like a couple different blurs, and then the one that really brings out that like ground texture is just a compound blur with like an asphalt texture that I made using turbulent noise on a 3D plane, so that it gets more fine as it goes off into the distance and gets larger as it comes closer, so that you can really get a lot of that realistic texturing there.
That's so smart. I never would have, like, it makes sense because I'm thinking like a lot of the times when movies shoot outdoors, they'll wet down the street just because those reflections look so much nicer. But I never even thought about when doing a rain shot, like, oh, I need to make the street look like it's reflecting.
I didn't either.
Lights around it.
I didn't either, clearly, based upon the 2021 version. But yeah, so if if anyone watching is newer in visual effects, just keep going. It gets so much better.
I want to ask 2 quick questions.
Yeah.
One, it looks like, did you add steam coming out the back of it with
I
the red light
did.
reflecting on it?
I did. So these are our falling fog assets that I actually flipped so that they're rising. Well, no, actually that may be city steam. I think it's a windy city steam actually that I rotated horizontal. And that was a collection that we didn't have at the time. Whenever I first made the first 2021 shot, I think that one came out in 2022 or 2023 was when we finally released the city steam. So I was able to incorporate some of those to make it look like the car is still running.
And then last question.
Mhm.
How do you do the beams coming off the headlights?
So those are masked rain assets, and I utilized the newer After Effects, the refine mask tool, where you can like click on the edge of your mask and like drag it and like feather it. That wasn't around when I did the first one. So with that first one, each beam probably has like 8 or 9 different masks to help get that shape, versus the one that I did most recently only has 3. So it's the main beam that runs, and then I have an intersect mask that really highlights that the like actual beam part of it, and then I have another mask that is also an intersect that's much less opaque, just to help maintain a lot of that light interaction, like that light fall off.
That's crazy.
It is, and yeah, that's the other thing, is that technology changes and new features come out, and learn how to use them, and they will improve your life going down the road dramatically.
Hotkeys. Learn hotkeys.
Hotkeys.
It will speed up your workflow so much, and that's just
Yes.
keyboard buttons you can press that
That's
will
right.
kind of shortcut what you would do with the mouse going through the menu settings.
And eventually that turns into muscle memory.
Yep. Until you jump into a new software and
That's
all
right.
the hotkeys are flipped on you.
That's right. V
Oh,
and A
also-
do the same thing now.
Yeah. Shout out to the new tutorial Sam put out going over how to create normal maps. Want to give just a brief kind of overview of what this is about?
Absolutely. So this is a tutorial that takes a asset that does not have a normal map, and you can actually create a normal map using that asset. It is a plugin called Normality. Or no, Normality is the reloading one. This one is called Normal Mapper for AE. So that one will take a smoke plume asset like you see here, and it will create a normal map for it, and then you'll be able to actually relight it and make it look like it's being lit by a fire. If you want to see the like final result and the process for that, check out the tutorial. It is on our channel.
Yeah, great stuff. Highly recommend that. All the other tutorials, anything Sam puts out that is in regards to color or lighting is just a wealth of
Please.
knowledge.
I do what I can. I'm not a great visual effects artist, but I can latch on to those technical features and tricks.
Yeah. So, without any further ado, I think it's time to jump into the meat of this live stream.
Ooh boy.
Which will be reviewing the submissions everyone has turned in for the latest VFX challenge, which on Discord you can go submit. We do one every month, and you can submit on the submit there's a challenge, there's a channel dedicated directly to it. So yeah, let's just jump into it and check out our first submission.
Let's do it. Who's up? Very nice.
I like that. Yeah, that shockwave that comes out.
Yeah, that
That's a
is
nice
that is
effect.
really cool. Great work.
Yeah. Oh, and I noticed there's some masking in the trees. I can't see because the detail of the streaming, it's not as high resolution as the original file, but
That's
one
pretty
thing,
intricate.
yeah, that is very intricate. One way to help with that, to speed it up, I don't know if you did this or not, but we have tree assets on the store, and this is a little trick Sam taught me. Using those, turning them white and using it as a mask to like a Luma mat to then do kind of the rotoing of the detail of the trees to layer back over the explosion. And
Yep.
it made so many of my comps, like it sped up the workflow, but looked so good. But
Yeah,
this,
it's nuts.
yeah, this is
I think
very
you
well
taught me
done.
that. But great work. I love the inclusion of the plane and then just the two nukes going off and that big bright nuclear glow. That's really sick. Great work.
Yeah, good work. On to our next.
Hello, the United States Army. We are the engineers from France. Very professional and very trusted. I'm Santiar.
And I am Duduf. Today, we present you our most advanced weapon, the flux-altering relativistic trigger, or FART for short.
It is loud and very powerful.
We propose it to you because the French government doesn't want to spend money in innovative military projects.
They say it's too dangerous, too unstable. But you understand innovation.
The core of the FART uses a folded tachyon loop, suspended in an oscillating photon field, stabilized by quantum coils, of course. When triggered, it generates a local temporal distortion, right before the explosion.
Yes. Very cinematic.
As you can see, we are now geared up for safety.
Safety first.
We calculated the blast radius will be 15 meters. So we go...
20?
Yes, 20. I activate the FART. And now we connect the wire. Yes, right. Like this. Yeah, perfect. Now the installation is very stable and ready to blow. Okay, now we go for the explosion.
3, 2, 1. Maybe the wire?
I go fix. I am engineer.
Take the talkie-walkie.
The wires are disconnected.
Use the talkie-walkie, please.
Yes, the wires are disconnected. Can I connect them?
Yes. Oh, no!
Okay, America. As you can see, the FART. Small size, but big boom.
When do we sign the contract?
That was awesome. That one is just fun.
That was great. I really like that. One thing to highlight, I think, the sound design was really good on that one.
Yeah, the sound design was great, especially when they like did the detonation and it had the little puff of smoke and it just made the little like fart sound. That was
I have
like
a feeling
peak
these
comedy.
guys have to have worked with pyro to have had all that stuff, or like some type of explosive.
I mean, potentially, you never know.
To
Thomas,
just have all that
let us
stuff
know.
on
Do
hand.
you work with explosives?
Yeah. I think it's also I've done an effect similar where the explosive doesn't go off and someone walks up to check in and blows up. That's almost, I feel like, the lightsaber being a rite of passage for all visual
Yes.
effects artists. Blowing up a friend is also.
Yep, you have to.
Yeah, that explosion looked really good though. That was some really well done stuff, and I
Yeah, it
love
was
the body flying through the air and landing on the camera.
Yeah, Thomas, let us know how you did that if you are watching.
Yeah, I would love to see a breakdown on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you get the chance, put that up in Discord for everyone to see.
Never
That'd be
worked
awesome.
with any pyro.
Yes, that is well. Never worked with pyro. Okay. So where did all of the props come from? Was that something that y'all just custom made?
Yeah, once I saw the twisting of the wires on the little black wrapped thing, it was giving me flashbacks to the overnight shoots.
Yep.
Setting them in the pool.
Yep. That was quite realistic actually, where you just twist the wires together and we had a couple he said the breakdown is online now. Looks like you posted it. Sick.
I will have to check that out.
Yeah, dude. Thank you. The false detonation is kind of a trope, but it's also very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
There were quite a few times where we would be setting off a water blast and we'd do the countdown, and then our technician would push the button and nothing would happen, or it would just go. So,
and that's where I take a couple steps back and I go, okay, let the pyro guy do it.
Yeah.
Fix it and adjust it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good
Cool.
stuff. Now,
Well, what is up next?
Next one
Fighters
is...
break off. Repeat, all fighters get out of there. This is Wolf 5. I've been hit. Ejector fried. I'm going down.
It's over. There's no way we can beat them in the skies. Maybe we're not done yet.
Man, great work, Webbo. That was incredible, and it was really cool that it kind of built off of the
previous submission.
last submission that you made that actually wound up winning. So good
Yeah,
job,
cool.
good work. Those like
There was a
character sims
story
were
in
awesome.
there.
What did you say, Wyatt?
I said it was cool. There's like a story in there. There's kind of a narrative that threads everything together. And I appreciate the commitment to tone with like the action, the world getting destroyed, and just the soldier watching everything burn.
I like that it looks like the good guys don't win. It's like very like Rogue One, which I love.
Yeah,
I love Rogue One. Some people do not have that same opinion, but
I won't speak. I will bite my tongue. But yeah, good shot, Webbo. That was cool. I love city destruction. If you're watching right now, I'd be curious to hear how long you've been working in 3D.
Yeah, and how you did the character sims, because those look really good.
Yeah, I can't imagine how long doing all those 3D shots would take. I am not the 3D expert. That's Tom.
Okay, all right. Baragon agrees. Rogue One is great. Cool. Thank you.
Seems like we've got bad taste in this chat.
Ooh, it's getting spicy now, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, on to our next submission.
Great work, Ebon. One thing to note, for those of you who don't know, in Discord, Ebon let us know that he is 7 years old when he did all of that VFX work.
This is his first VFX shot.
Potentially, yeah. And
yeah.
I mean, that versus what I was making at 7, I was making mud pies outside. Like, that is really impressive.
Yeah, I don't think I did my first like visual effects shot till I was like 12 or 13, and it was a muzzle flash with a distinct black haze around the borders. So, yeah, keep it up.
He's already years ahead of you.
Yeah, I can't imagine when he's 13, he'll be working for Action VFX doing shots.
Yeah, Iman, great work. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Looks
sick.
Sick.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Wait,
that is Iman again. There we go.
Ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1, go! Oh no.
I love this one because it gives me a lot of nostalgia of going out and filming with my siblings, and just having to be very, very resourceful. Like I believe that Dennis said on there that they only had 1 steak and 2 potatoes.
I was about to point out, I guess any shot that shows multiple steaks is a master
Yeah.
trick.
Yeah. So that is absolutely incredible, and I love that. It looks great.
Yeah,
Great
I want
work.
to highlight actually that first explosion looked. I really like that first shot of the explosion. Where is it?
That shot right there is giving like Wes Anderson. But yes,
I think that's a great shot right there.
it is. That was really good.
Somewhere in there. Right here. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
the explosion looks great.
yeah. And yeah, you're saying it's well shot. It's got kind of it does kind of have that like Moonrise Kingdom vibe to it.
Yeah. Yep. Very good.
Stuff. I like that. Okay. Now we have our final submission.
I hear someone outside. I am not risking it. I am leaving.
Drop the missiles! Now!
Dude, Max, that was incredible. Whenever you compare and contrast that with the last submission that you made for our last VFX challenge, the difference is huge, dude.
Yeah, definitely a lot of progress and improvement being made. And I love the shootout. I love the muzzle flashes and the tracer bullets flying out, and just a lot going on, especially with the sound design. I noticed at the start there's
the sound was good.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite part was actually the car explosion, and it was mostly because of the fine attention to detail with the ground and with the actual like debris was really cool. Like if you go back and like just watch that section, like seeing just the really little things, like the small ground fire. Not that one. Go back a little bit to the car explosion. Keep going. It was right before all the muzzle flashes. Right before that. That was also a great blood hit. Yeah, this one. Like watch. Yeah, right. See all of that debris just come flying out and like land. I think that's just super sick.
Do you think was that one of our ground impacts?
It looked like one of our exploding debris.
Okay.
Max, are you here? Can you comment on that and let us know if that was one of our exploding debris?
Yeah, and Max, we've seen quite a few submissions from Max, and he's improving. That's his little brother, the who made the one of the previous entries, the 7-year-old first VFX shot.
Yeah, you can actually notice. I think it's like the same car and in the same setting. It almost seems like they filmed this really close together because that car looks like it's parked in the same spot.
And Max, if your little brother sticks with visual effects, that is going to be such a great collaborative resource for both of you.
Mm-hmm. Especially if each of you develop complementary skill sets that you can use in like tag team with. But here are the prizes for the winner today. They will get their own Action VFX t-shirt and their choice of 2 of our variety packs. So they will get to pick out 2 of them that they can keep and use and continue building their VFX skills with. So are we ready to announce the winner, Wyatt?
Yes, we are.
And
the winner is, drum roll, please.
I'll do it. Drum roll. Max Schaefer. Congratulations, dude.
You earned it.
That was awesome. Just to see the progress from the last shot to this current one. And we want to go ahead and reward all of that and see what you can make next.
Yeah, you've put in a lot of hard work, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. So we will get in contact with you, figure out how to get all the stuff over to you, and you can keep on creating from there. So that you can enter into our next VFX challenge, which is what, Wyatt? What is it? Power surge. So we will be using the assets that are in the Essentials catalog this month to you guys who are subscribers. You guys get access to those for free, and you have to make something really sick and submit that.
We can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and then next month we'll let you know if you're the big winner.
Yeah, so make sure to share that on Discord to the submissions channel. You can find any more information you need about this challenge also there.
Not yet. The information about the challenge will come out on June 1st on Discord, so everyone here is getting a sneak preview.
Yes, everyone's getting a sneak preview, little jump start. So June 1st, and our live stream will be final Thursday of next month.
Yeah, so go ahead and start planning what you want your shot to be. Take a look at the assets that are on the website and go ahead and get yourself a game plan, or go ahead and film some plates.
Yeah, it'll be exciting stuff. Yeah, so make sure you guys share your work with us. Make sure you're checking out the Discord, joining the challenge. We've got new tutorials always coming out. We've got an incredible nuke course we just put out. Our last guest was Doug Hogan, and he is incredibly talented at nuke and compositing in there. So I highly recommend that if you haven't seen it. We've got new products coming, as we've shown, monthly live streams. Anything else you think we got to add, Sam?
I do want to quickly address the comment that just popped up in the chat. It says, what is going to happen to VFX roles due to AI development? In my personal opinion, and from what I've seen and the people that I've talked to that are in the industry, AI is just a tool. It is a tool that we use. It's like any other tool. I mean, you could argue that like RotoBrush in After Effects is an AI tool. You could argue that like relighting in Fusion is an AI tool. And I think that it's one of those things where it is a tool that we should leverage. It will make us better as visual effects artists. I don't believe that we need to be afraid of it taking our jobs away, because somebody will still have to use that tool. And so if it makes rotoscoping easier, if it makes generations easier, become a master of that craft. Really go ahead and dive in and learn how to use it, and how to use it well. There will always be situations and things that it can't replace. I can't tell you how many times I want a certain image generation and it does not do what I want, and I wind up having to do like 30 prompts by the time that I finally get something that's usable. Spent all of that time to just make it myself. Will the corporations use it to replace the artists? Potentially. That's not something that I can speak on. That'll depend on corporation by corporation. At the end of the day, there is always going to have to be somebody that is making something, and AI needs to reference things. So it will depend. The future development of AI is dependent on the human creations that come in the future as well. It can't reference something that doesn't exist. Everything that it knows how to reference is something that has been created by a human being in the past somehow. So I would say that as far as the corporations go, who knows? That can be something that you can ask if you work for a corporation, or if you are interviewing to work for somewhere. Ask them about their long-term plans with AI usage and how that applies to their policy on people. But I would say that overall, I don't think that AI will be the end all be all and destroy the visual effects industry.
Yeah, I don't see AI replacing people. I see people who get good at AI replacing.
Yes.
So no, those who are most fearful of AI, I feel like don't understand it as well. And when you start to use it, you really start to notice the limitations of it, and you
Mhm.
realize there's a lot of human element that has to go in to refine it and make it look good. And I don't think it'll ever be where you can just AI something and drag and drop and it's perfect to go. And while a visual effects artist may slow down because they don't know I don't think some AI person will come and replace them. It's the visual effects artist who learns how to integrate AI into their workflow that's going to be unstoppable because he'll be
Right.
the best of both worlds and be able to work faster and more efficiently than anyone else.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
was very well put.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah. If you're fearful of AI, familiarize yourself with it. That is the best way to kind of understand what you're dealing with.
dude, that should be on a t-shirt or like a throw pillow. If you're fearful, familiarize. That's good. I like that.
Thank you.
Cool.
That was
Well,
good. Thank you for bringing that up. That was a
yes.
good thing to discuss.
Thank y'all for asking these questions in the chat for us.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, Wyatt,
I don't think
that
so.
we need to touch on, or can we wrap this up? Anyone else have any other questions real quick?
Yeah. Any burning questions?
I know we're over time, but we are here for y'all.
Yeah. If you guys do have any questions on the Discord, we do have a questions channel. So feel free to submit anything there. We're very active. We love to communicate with you guys, see what you're working on. But other than that, just make sure to share your work with us and make sure to submit to that next VFX challenge.
Yep. Hop on over to the Discord. That's where we're all at, and you can connect with all of us. We will be there.
With that being said, we'll see you guys next month. Take care and have a good one.
Adios.